Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, persons of all ages, welcome to the most exclusive group in the wrestling community. And now, your hosts, first, from Oahu, Puerto Rico, Macho Rodriguez, and his tag team partner from New Brunswick, Canada, God's Gift, Tyler Taylor! ¿Cómo estamos, mi gente? Welcome to another edition of Must Love Wrestling. This is one of the solo episodes, as I wanted to come on here to just give thanks to a bunch of yous and also talk a little bit of LA Knight. So the first things first I need to get over, or I need to go over, is the fact that seemingly out of nowhere, you guys have just decided to like our YouTube channel. And I need to thank you. I need to come on here personally and thank each and every single one of you. Now, I realize that our following on TikTok has grown quite a lot, and our X has not really risen to what we'd like it to be, and neither has our presence on Instagram. But here on YouTube, you guys have made us feel loved. This has been an absolute shocker to me. Yesterday, we started the day with 46 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and we jumped up to 172 today. Now, I honestly don't know how that happened, except for the fact that you guys started watching our product and decided that you wanted to follow along. I have to say thank you so much. This means the world to me and Tyler. We are super excited to provide you with more and more content as we progress and as we grow as a podcast. But for now, I'm just super thankful that you guys have clicked the follow button and the subscribe button. So continue to do so. Continue to share our channel. We appreciate each and every single one of you. And now on to what we wanted to talk about today. I want to talk about LA Knight. Because what I realized is that LA Knight has become a part of the fickle fan base. All of a sudden, his fan base is quiet. It has gone silent. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Friday Night SmackDown was the best night in LA Knight's career. 1000%. I felt that Friday Night SmackDown was all about making him into a star. He was already on his way up, but his presence with Roman Reigns in the ring, finally him getting an absolute stunner, banger of a match against Solo, and then the way he closed the show. Even though Roman comes out on top, as I've said in the past, you don't need to win a match to get over, and you also don't need to finish a segment standing tall to get over. The fact that he was out there with Roman Reigns, with the guy, with the main event, it felt bigger. His face-to-face with Roman Reigns felt bigger to me than the face-to-face with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. I was so excited to see that he was finally getting the shine in the spotlight and that he was relishing in the moment, because it really felt like he was out of sorts, out of place when he was feuding with The Miz. It felt like The Miz just kept eating him for breakfast. Every time they cut a promo, The Miz was able to call out everything that he was doing wrong. He was able to call out the fickle wrestling fans, how they just love him right now, but they won't in a couple of months, how he's a flavor of the month. And absolutely, that's what showed. But he wasn't able to have a singular good match with The Miz. And now, out of nowhere, LA Knight is hitting his finisher flush on everybody. Ever since the last Premium Live event, not a single person has taken this finisher the wrong way. The blunt force trauma has become brutal. Even the little clip from the house show yesterday when he hit it on Roman Reigns, it looked perfect. Roman can't do anything wrong. Let's just be honest with it. Let's just be honest with you. The way Roman took that blunt force trauma yesterday, that looked phenomenal, guys. Oh, our guy D says LA Knight rules. He really does. I have slowly started to root for him, but I wasn't really on board. I agreed with my buddy Patty Reekin over at Working the Marks, where he's kind of he has an F grade. He's been kind of a bust for me this year. But this whole John Cena business, him being out there, and Cena it seems like Cena's really invested in getting him over, and that's what I feel right now. I feel like it's not just John Cena; it's a lot of people in the business are invested in getting LA Knight over. And even though we know he's not going to beat Roman Reigns of Saudi Arabia, we know that for sure. What we can say is right now, it looks awesome for him. The future looks great. And we know that this time of year, yeah, the odds makers have who's going to win the Royal Rumble, and the top two guys are Cody Rhodes and Gunther, with Gunther leading the way. I think he's like a negative 400. But LA Knight could take that from him. Who's to say that it wouldn't be LA Knight versus Gunther at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship? Who's to say that Logan Paul doesn't beat Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship, and then LA Knight beats Logan Paul at WrestleMania for the United States Championship? And he kind of follows the John Cena trajectory, where his first singles title is the United States Championship. And what better place for him to win his first singles gold than at WrestleMania? I got to be honest with you guys. When I watched his match with Solo, I was finally impressed. I've been very impressed with his promos recently, and I felt like, all right, he looks like he belongs. But I saw this great comment on X during SmackDown, where when he made that comment about you pissing your pants yet to Roman Reigns, and Roman's response, it was very much Negan. He came off as Negan. And anybody who's a fan of The Walking Dead knows that Negan is brutal. He's ruthless. And he's kind of got a potty mouth, right? I mean, let's think about it. Some of the things he said after he burnt all of the mattresses in the middle of the square. What did he tell Rick? I'm not going to repeat it here. You can go back and watch that episode yourself, or you can go back and read the books like I did, but it's a pretty lewd comment for him to say. That's the feeling I got out of LA Knight. And I got to be honest with you guys. Whoa, I'm missing something. I apologize. I'm missing something, guys. I knew that when I did this LA Knight episode that there was something I was missing. Hold on. Yeah, I had to be able to come on here and do this with you guys because let's be truthful about this. Right now, LA Knight is that guy. He is absolutely on top of Friday Night SmackDown. He is up there with Roman Reigns. He's up there with Cody Rhodes. Yeah, you got to be honest with yourself, guys. He looks the part. I mean, the Bret Hart shades that he's rocking right now, I mean, these are pretty old. I've had them for a while. But let's be honest with ourselves. If he won the Royal Rumble this year, would you guys be shocked? I wouldn't be. I would be thrilled. Especially because over the past 10 to 15 years, we're not guaranteed that the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship. So we don't need to thrust him to the world title. We can still take our time. As we saw with Tom Brady, him playing until he's 45. As we saw with Drew Brees. As we're watching with LeBron James right now. Athletes can continue to work into their later years, and they can provide us with great stuff. And WWE's style is perfect for LA Knight. He doesn't have to do the indie-rific wrestling that AEW provides. He can be that guy who gives us that slow pace, brawler mentality, kind of like a later Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's perfect for what they're trying to do. And you can tell based on how they're running NXT and Raw and SmackDown that the objective is to not have any youngsters up on the main roster. Braun Breaker, a lot of you guys have said that he's ready for the main roster, but they disagree with you, don't they? Carmelo Hayes, wonderful in the ring, wonderful gimmick. Shawn Michaels himself have said, I don't want to push him up to the main roster because I'd rather him make the mistakes here. These guys are being pushed along slowly. With H and Shawn in charge of the top 2 to 3 shows in WWE, they're doing the right thing. It's a slow burn, and it's working in our favor right now. Now, when you go to AEW, what we're watching right now is we're watching a shit show. I can't describe to you anything else Have you ever seen that Clint Eastwood movie? My favorite Clint Eastwood movie is Heartbreak Ridge. Heartbreak Ridge is it's such a great movie because it follows Clint Eastwood's character Gunny Highway as he is in the later years of his Marine career. And he's sent back to run recon. And as he's doing that, he's met with all of these new age guys. And that's exactly what Edge feels like right now. That's what AEW feels like right now. It feels like Heartbreak Ridge, where Edge is sent back to run recon. And yeah, sure, there's a couple of guys like Bryan Danielson, Christian, Sting, although it seems like Sting might retire, which that'll be the final topic of the evening. We're watching this unfold, and it doesn't look like they're meeting Edge or Adam Copeland at his level. Tony Khan is having a meltdown every single day. And we honestly don't know if anybody's going to stop him, but he's a millionaire. And it's really hard to tell your boss, hey, stay off social media, man. Give us an opportunity to prove that we're not Vince Russo's WCW, because that's what it feels like, guys. This doesn't even feel like the later half of 1998 WCW when Eric Bischoff was fired and rehired. This doesn't feel like that version of a WCW. This feels like he is purposely torpedoing the company. The photos that have come out recently with Adam Copeland being in the middle of the ring and working in a pretty much an indie arena, they need to scale it back, guys. They need to go back to what NXT does. A smaller venue. Start selling those out. Save the big venues for the pay-per-views. For some reason, Tony Khan believes that he's got the best wrestling company in the world, but all that comes out of there is toxic. We have great matches here and there, but they're not producing great content. None of their backstage segments feel like they sell the match. None of the storylines that we're watching on screen carry over. I can't tell you, as a big fan of Swerve Strickland and Adam Hangman Page, I can't tell you what they're actually feuding about. Now, I can guess that it's because Hangman Adam Page was given an opportunity early, and Swerve feels like that's his opportunity. But it doesn't feel like something we want to sit there and we want to watch, we want to sink our teeth into. Right now, all I care about is that these guys hate each other and that I'm a big fan of both of these superstars. And I strongly believe that both of these superstars are in the wrong company. I stand by this. If Hangman Adam Page was in WWE, he would be the biggest star in the world, close to Roman Reigns. I don't know why he chose to stay in AEW, possibly just for comfort. But I think he's like an AJ Styles like talent that he goes over to WWE and he immediately jumps to the main roster. His gimmick is money. He can cut promos. He's an absolute amazing worker. Definitely top 5 in that company. Argue with your abuela, a mí no me importa. Hangman Adam Page is that dude. And then Swerve Strickland, a phenomenal talent who has all the goods everywhere. Promo, character, presentation, in-ring work, storytelling. He's a 5-tool player, people. All right, guys. Now we're going to end the show a little sad. As many of you know, I started watching wrestling in 1989. My first ever wrestling match was Sting versus Ric Flair. It was a 45-minute time limit draw. I sat down and watched it with my abuelo and my father. If not for watching that guy with makeup and a blonde flat top and a rat tail, I don't think I'm a wrestling fan today. If it's not for Sting, I wouldn't be watching wrestling today. He is my all-time favorite wrestler. He is number 1 on my list for the rest of my life. And I believe that Wednesday is his retirement announcement. Now, as someone who is almost 40 and have been able to watch him essentially his entire career, and I've been there through injuries, through character changes, through company changes, through more injuries. I got to be honest with you. I am the luckiest wrestling fan in the world. Sting is one of the greatest to ever do it. In my opinion, he's a top 5 all-time wrestler. Again, argue with your abuela, go pound sand. I don't care. Wrestling is subjective. My opinion doesn't need to be your opinion. My opinion is Sting is top 5 all time. He's on my Mount Rushmore. If he retires on Wednesday, I think it'll be a hole in professional wrestling for me that I don't think anybody could ever fill. I was a big Bret the Hitman Hart fan when he was wrestling, but I never at the level of Sting. A big Brock Lesnar fan. Monster, huge. Never at the level of Sting. The only person that rivals my love for Sting is Bryan Danielson. And I said this on a recent TikTok video. Those are my 4 favorite wrestlers ever. Brock Lesnar, Bret Hart, Sting, and Bryan Danielson. Those are my 4 favorite ever. When they all leave the business, I'm going to have to find a new crop. I have been lucky enough to watch Sting continue his career and give us special moments. And just when I thought that Sting was about to walk out the door and never give us a good match after that Seth Rollins Night of Champions match, I got to be honest with you. Wembley's All In, when Darby Allin got hurt, and Sting and Swerve Strickland being able to go out there and ad-lib will forever be one of my favorite moments ever. April 26, 1999, Sting wrestled Diamond Dallas Page for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. That is my favorite Sting match ever. I love that match in its entirety. If you go back and you watch our first creative card, that is the main event of our evening. Tyler was lucky enough to let me, or he was nice enough to let me pick the main event of our evening. So I guess I was lucky enough to let him, for him to do that for me. And that, I watched that match, and you can watch my reaction. You can watch it with me as I'm marking out the entire time. Sting is the only guy that makes me mark out. Like, I genuinely get angry when he loses. That's why I've been so happy that he's undefeated in AEW, because I don't have to watch him lose on his way out. He's already done that. He dropped to Seth Rollins. He put over Seth. That's kind of how I feel like that was the end of Sting's like prime run right there. Well, anyway, guys, I just wanted to thank you again for all of the subscribes, all of the likes, all of the views that you've been giving us. My most recent video with Macho Man Randy Savage got over 8,000 views. I mean, I'm so grateful. Gracias a todo. I can't tell you how happy I am. I want to give full credit to our producer, D. Rotten. If not for him doing all of this wonderful stuff like the figurehead over top, the home screen, everything that you see, we've been able to do because of D. Rotten. Thank him so much. D, I hope you're listening. I don't know if you're watching or if not, but I just want to thank you personally here live. Tyler, thank you so much for this journey. It's been amazing, and we're hoping to keep going, guys. I'm hoping one day to be able to put that play button right here. I want to get that play button from YouTube. So let's get that. And thank you so much, guys. Bendición a todos. Que Dios te bendiga.